prayer, followed by our national anthem and player introduction. For all of our guests, restrooms are located at both ends of the mezzanine. To the north end, they are located on the side of the concession stand. Concession stand is open and it appreciates your business. At this time, we ask everyone to please rise for our opening prayer. At halftime of tonight's game, we will be celebrating the 20th anniversary of our 2005 state championship team. And in our opening prayer, we ask that you please remember two of the members who we've lost through the years. Phil Kionis, who was a team manager, and also Brett Bazeski, one of our players from that team. So please remember them in our prayer here today. Let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God, in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we thank you for being with us tonight. Please protect all participants from injury and allow us to exhibit good sportsmanship and respect throughout the game. We give you thanks for the talents of these young men, and we pray that they carry the bonds of brotherhood formed on the field of play with them for the rest of their lives. Continue to send your blessings to both of our communities and guide our efforts as we develop young men who are guided by faith, strengthened by intellect, committed to justice, and prepared to lead and serve. For this we pray, amen. St. John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us. Live Jesus in our hearts forever. Please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. And now, let's meet tonight's starting lineup. First for the visitors, the St. Dominic Crusaders. Starting goal, a sophomore, number 0, Connor White. A freshman, number 3, Gavin Phillips. A senior, number 4, Mason Phillips. A sophomore, number 5, Ben Warner. A senior, number 7, Corbin Beal. A junior, number 9, Brendan McCrory. A senior, number 10, Killian Rittenhouse. A junior, number 12, Farsi Kilcullen. A junior, number 13, Michael Agathon. A sophomore, number 15, Randy Keller. And a senior, number 22, Chase Meyer. The Crusaders are coached by Mr. Greg Keller. He is assisted by Kevin Cookney and Brad Fisher. tonight's starting lineup for the home team, the 10-time Missouri State champion, your CBC Cadets. Starting in goal, a junior number 1, Stone Duggery. A senior captain number 2, Adam Nicoletti. A senior number 3, Kiefer Cole. A senior number 4, Chase Gardner. A junior number 7, Lucas Charmatero. A sophomore number 8, Cole Beck. A senior number 10, Stevie Jones. A junior number 12, Will Charmatero. A senior number 13, Nico Garoni. A senior number 16, Jude Light. And a senior number 17, Evan Miller. Your cadets are coached by Mr. Randy Roy. He is assisted by John Theobald, Mark Zimmerman, Liam Jacober, and Joey Wilson. Our referees for tonight in the middle, Miss Jennifer Bull.
Welcome to the booth, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the Tim Kylo broadcast booth with the game we have been looking forward to for quite some time now. Tom Eichwald and Randy Gardner bringing you CBC versus St. Dominic. The Crusaders come in. They are wearing all white uniforms on the right half of your screen. They have a record of 10-5-1 on the season. The Cadets wearing the pink jerseys, pink socks, and black shorts. They are on the left side of your screen. They'll be going left to right with a record of 8-6-1. CBC has been looking forward to this game for almost a year now. It was on October 16th of last year, the Champions League semifinal. St. Dominic won 6-0. That was only 6 days after beating CBC 1-0. CBC is looking to get back to winning ways against a perennial power out of St. Charles County, that is St. Dominic High School. You heard the starters. We will give them to you as well. First for St. Dominic, Connor White in goal. Gavin Phillips, Mason Phillips, Ben Warner, Corbin Beal, Brendan McCrory, Killian Rittenhouse, Carson Kilcullen, Michael Agathan, Randy Keller, and Chase Meyer. They are coached by Greg Keller. CBC will start Stone to Grief in goal. We'll give you the rest of the lineup after kickoff because we are about to be underway. Referee faked me out there. Looked at the whistle for a second. Now goalkeepers are good, and we are rolling. Is underway. St. Dominic starts with possession. That starting lineup for CBC, Stone to Grief in goal. Adam Nicoletti, Kiefer Cole, Chase Gardner, Lucas Sharamatero, Cole Beck, Stevie Jones, Will Sharamatero, Nico Garoni, Jude Light, and Evan Miller. The Cadets are coached by Randy Roy. As we see the game get underway, lights just come on a beautiful early fall evening here at CBC. We bring in Randy Gardner. And Randy, we were just mentioning how much CBC's probably been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this is a game that left a bad taste in their mouth at the end of last year in terms of a 6-0 loss in that Champions League game. So you see this game on the schedule. A lot of these kids know each other. They play club ball together. They live around each other. So this game is a game about school pride also as much as it is an athletic contest.
Here's CBC, that's Garoni. Looking for Will Sharamatero down the left side. St. Dominic intercepts it. These two teams have met a number of times over the last few years. Highest profile of those games was a state championship semifinal where CBC beat St. Dominic 1-0. That was back in 2022. They got the Cadets to the final where they met Rockhurst. We'll say no more of that tournament. But this is a matchup every year that we look forward to. Randy mentioned, the kind of interconnected players. They live around each other. They play club. A lot of them went to grade school together. It's one of the things we see, in the MCC schools as well. But also just two teams that are perennially well coached. Two teams that draw a lot of talent, high-profile programs. The records, not that dissimilar here. But really, this is a game, Randy, where the records kind of go out the window.
Yeah, you looked on the wins and losses against similar teams, and it's pretty even when you look at teams that they have lost to and have beaten. It's kind of a hodgepodge of a team we beat, they lose to, and vice versa.
CBC clears, and St. Dominic will reset. As that one will be chased by Nico. Ushering it out is Chase Meyer.
Something unique, Tom, that you don't see very often. We talked about this right before kickoff, but two sets of brothers, the Phillips brothers on one side of the pitch, and on the other side we have the Shermatero brothers playing together. You don't see them that very often.
Nope, that is Gavin Phillips, Mason Phillips. Gavin, the freshman, getting the start. Mason, the senior. And the Shermatero twins for CBC, both juniors. So a game in which you have two sets of brothers, but none of them is a sophomore.
Yeah, both teams trying to feel each other out and just kind of looking as we start here. Both have a little bit of a similar style of play the ball quickly around the back, look for that quick ball up through the middle and down around the outside.
Yeah, I've seen these programs over the years, just really technically sound, really attack here. Not cleared initially. At the second go it is. Corbin Beal brings it back down. I was looking for McCrory. That was number 3, Gavin Phillips, heading it back in. Cleared long. Jude Light is mixing it up with Carson Kilcullen, and that'll go all the way back to Connor White, the sophomore goalkeeper for St. Dominic. White comes in. He's got the lion's share of the minutes this season, 880 of them before kickoff started tonight. Save percentage just a little north of 80. And this is his, do quick math, 13th game of the season.
Again, we talk about it every year in every broadcast, but this is basically going to come down to ultimately who can control the center of the field the best. Looking early here.
Cross in, that should be Stones. He catches it, does a nice job to hold on to it too.
Both teams with that quick play around the outside, but as that ball comes into the middle, you're going to see the gaps need to be closed and tightened up. You can see it a little there as that ball gets to Jude. If he's able to bring that ball down, center midfielders pulling up a little bit to support him.
It could be one of those games where it comes down to who's able to adapt. Both teams come in with kind of similar game plans, cancel each other out. Who's going to be able to find another way?
You would almost think the opposite if you're playing the same kind of game style, that it would play into both teams' advantage, but it doesn't, because of that exact fact that they're doing exactly the same thing you're trying to do. So it will be the first team that can adapt.
And CBC having to do it without a couple of stalwarts, Parker Jetton, Ethan Norkitis, not in the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah, Parker got a little time in the game on Tuesday night. Ethan still did not play on Thursday. Not sure how much we'll see of each of them as the game proceeds tonight, but good to see them getting healthy. Next week we play Sacred Heart Griffin on Saturday, and then we have a little bit of a slow week, which will be a great week for some of these guys to get some of those knocks and quick injuries, maybe a chance to remedy some of those things. I talked to Randy earlier, and Randy Roy, the head coach, and he was talking about, hey, look, these guys haven't had a break pretty much since the beginning of the season. They're playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So by the time we get into Wednesday, that's a half recovery day. And then Friday's a half recovery day. We play Saturday. So not a lot of time to work on things that they're trying to establish and get better at.
That is Randy Gardner. I am Tom Eichwald. We are glad to have you with us. You're watching the Cadet Student Network live from the Tim Kylo broadcast booth at W. Michael Ross 66 Stadium at CBC High School. We got the cadets in those pink jerseys and socks with a pair of black shorts between the two. They are going left to right across your screen. They've got a 0 up on the scoreboard, as does St. Dominic, going right to left wearing the all-white road uniforms with some nice bold navy blue numbers on the back.
I know you love that. You don't need your binoculars out here tonight.
That's the first battle of any game. Who's got the clearer jersey numbers? I think tonight pretty even both ways. Maybe slight nod to St. Dominic. Just a little bigger font on the back.
Yeah,
on the front, they're about negligible.
The pink on black looks really nice. I like the pink socks. It's a good combination.
It is something CBC does quite a bit during the month of October. You will see that with soccer. Don't want to speak for any other programs. It wouldn't be out of the question to see a little purple splash in a couple of playing surfaces over the course of the month. Throw in for St. Dominic over there on the right side. And so flick on, looking for McCrory. It was well worked. You could see the idea. McCrory comes back and settles in the overlapping run of, Ben Warner over there, I think number 5.
And you just saw right there that midfield space that I was talking about, that we have to close that gap up a little bit and not give these players some time to move through that midfield. At this level, when you get a little bit of opportunity to stop and turn with that ball, it can create a lot of danger.
Here is Stevie. Speaking of danger, a guy who can provide that anytime, anywhere. It's Cole Beck forwarding that pass on to the left. One of the things we've seen a lot this season from CBC, playing laterally with quick passes. Now Nicoletti teed up for a run down the left. He's going to be brought down by Agathon, and that is... They calling that out for a throw?
No, I think they called a foul.
Okay, I was going to say, I didn't see the referee going over there. It looked like a foul from here, so that is a foul from Agathon. And a good early chance for CBC inside the first 10.
And you know my feelings on this. Light it up, make the keeper make a save, and see what happens. Look for a rebound. We saw that in the Priory game. 2 of our goals were scored off a tip from the keeper.
Will Sharamatero is going to hit this one with his right foot. Curled in. You can see the idea. Good job by the goalkeeper, and that one's fired high and wide. It was Stevie running across for it. Collided with the goalkeeper, White. It was a good run from Stevie. Connor White was exactly where he needed to be.
And I think Sharamatero had a little more time than he thought. Kind of rushed that just a little bit. Good effort, good early pressure from the Cadets. And, you know, one thing we didn't talk about, Tom, as we started the game is the Vianney game on Tuesday. And not one of our best performances. I think the players would say the exact same thing, and it wasn't 1 or 2. It was 10, 12, 13, 14, just all around the field. And there are going to be nights when things don't work. They don't work, and they don't work throughout the night. Things very uncharacteristic out of this team with passes just to basically nobody without looking. Just things that hopefully they get out of their system now, especially leading into a game like tonight.
You know, Randy, as somebody who's played and coached this game extensively, well, the viewers saw that one.
Yeah,
yep.
Kind of that same thing there, you know. Not a huge mistake, doesn't kill you right here because of where you're at, but there were some balls in that other game the other night that were given away right in the middle of the field, which created goal-scoring opportunities.
That's brought down. That was a good job to get back there and clear it. Now it's long for Jude Chase. Good defensive header. Job just about done by Kilcullen. It'll be a throw-in for CBC. Does it help, Randy, sometimes when, you know, a performance, you know, the score of the game, I mean, you look at it, it was a 2-0 loss. It wasn't like he got beaten 9-0, but, you know, is it almost easier to bounce back when it's just comprehensively, you know, poor, when everybody's bad and it's not just 1 or 2 things that are frustrating? Oh, great shot there, goal! That is Stevie Jones with the left. You got a great look at that.
And we talk about that all the time, Stevie Jones with that quick turn in those first 2 or 3 steps. And that's something we haven't seen a lot of. Quick turn, 1, 2, and hit. And you saw how explosive that can be when you do that.
So CBC takes the lead 1-0 in the 11th minute. Stevie Jones off a throw-in. Gets just a little bit of space, turns, and finds that far post. You had a great camera angle of that. You could see it just start just outside the post and curl right in.
Yeah. He hit that ball perfectly. And that's something this team needed. You know, if you look throughout the year, maybe besides a couple of occasions, the team usually starts a little bit slow, takes a while to get into the game. And the games when we score early, it seems like we just take over.
And to the point, you know, we promised this will. I'm going to make a promise to the folks. This will be the last time we talk about the game on Tuesday. But with it being a poor performance across the board, maybe just easier to write off. You're coming off of good wins against DeSmet and Edwardsville. You have one poor game. Nobody was at their best. You write it off, you move on, you forget about it, and I think a goal like that could go a long way to just saying, that was a blip, we're back, this is CBC soccer, let's go.
One of the unfortunate things about Tuesday was it was against an MCC conference team that, yes, you're playing for pride, and you lose, and that's a game that you don't want to. But like you said, it's over, it's done, you put it behind you.
And here's Stevie again causing problems. Into the middle. This is Lucas Sharamatero. Nicoletti coming up in support, hits it with the right, and bobbled initially by White. And good job by Jude to follow up. White did do a nice job eventually of bringing that in as he got down to his right.
But a little bit more of a bobble, we're there for a tap in. And you know my theory on if you're within 25 yards of the goal and you have an opportunity, go ahead and light it up.
Yeah, and Adam had a little bit of momentum coming. He was running forward. Sometimes that helps the ball dip down, stay on target, as that one's in for Stone. So I like the shot, and I think everybody, from CBC, you see the goalkeeper maybe spill one a little bit. He did a nice job to recover, but I think there's a mental note made for Jude Light and a lot of these attacking players that every shot needs to be followed up. Here's Will Sharamatero looking down the channel. Stevie's beaten to it. Carson Kilcullen perfectly positioned. And a lot of space there for Gavin Phillips, as you mentioned. Fortunately for CBC, that's out.
Yeah, that's one thing as the ball works up the field. And you can see it, a little bit here as the midfielder's a little more laid back. And I know it's early, you're trying to suck them in to make a mistake and then that counter attack. But as the game goes on, as the midfield kind of pushes up, that's the space that you have to win.
26:44 to go. CBC trying to break out there. That's into the middle by Gardner, headed on by St. Dominic. And Kiefer Cole steps up. Lucas finds Evan Miller. Bit of a shank on the clearance. Going to need to see some composure here from the Cadets. And there it is from Lucas. Great back heel turn. And you like the idea to switch. It might just work out as Garoni's able to track back to it. Now Will.
Right, and this right here is when you need to slow the game down. You play the ball through the midfield, switch the fields up. There you go. Good job.
This is Miller. Looking to find feet. Stevie on the turn. Slows down. Nicoletti getting forward. Seeing Adam Nicoletti get very involved in the attack tonight. Of course, that means Chase Gardner has to be very alert, sliding to his left, which he is. And that one's given away. Nicoletti was forward. Fortunately, nobody for St. Dominic attacked that channel.
And that's the ball you really have to be careful with. Is that guy has his back to you, and you see him, but as soon as you play it, that gap closes down so quickly at this level.
Stevie creates a little bit of space. Gets around the corner. Randy Keller. Keller has support from Kilcullen. And Jones does well to keep it. This is Cole.
You have to be really careful with that ball.
Yep, he was looking for Beck, but just a little bit off and almost cost him. Good slide tackle from St. Dominic. Here they come down the right side. Killian Rittenhouse couldn't get on the end of it. Can they keep it in? They can.
One thing we're seeing a little more tonight than I saw on Tuesday night is just that little extra burst of, I want the ball. I want to get the ball. Offsides call there.
Gives us our first chance to tell you about Tim Kylo. If you are a avid fan of the Cadet Student Network, you have heard us mention our friend, State Farm agent, CBC alum Tim Kylo, who's the presenting sponsor.
His name on the door now.
Yep.
The Tim Kylo broadcast booth.
We know you can't see it, but you'll have to take our word for it that we do have the Tim Kylo broadcast booth sign directly behind us on the door. But Tim wants to save you money on your insurance. He's passionate about supporting CBC, passionate about bringing you CBC athletics on the Cadet Student Network, but he's also passionate about his work with State Farm Insurance. He wants to save you money. Call him, 314-842-4442, or send him an email, tim@timkylo, that's KILO.com.
Great job by Cole back there. Continuing to follow back out of that midfield all the way back into the corner and kind of shepherd that ball out of bounds. Simple things like that make such a difference.
23:25 to go.
We might need a fly swatter
I was
in the
gonna say,
Tim Kylo press box.
I hope the fly I'm constantly battling with while doing these live reads is not insured by Tim Kylo. He's a very persistent, scrappy fly. He knows it's a rivalry game, Randy. Cleared long. That should be out, no problem. And this will be a throw in for CBC. Little chance to reset with 22:55 to go on the clock.
Yeah, just looking at the first 20 minutes of this game or so, CBC is so much more confident, more laid back in just their approach. Like I mentioned before, the eagerness to get to the ball, to win the 50 ball. And just when you lose the ball, just to turn and re-engage or make the person who has the ball think you are re-engaging makes them do dumb things.
Nice idea on the flick, but that's well read by the Crusader defense. And here they come. There's space for them to attack. Crucially, Lucas Sharamatero presses his numerical counterpart, Beal, and allows CBC time to get back in their shape. That was a long ball from Kilcullen, looking right down the middle, brought down from the chest of Beal, and he's going to get called for a foul against Evan Miller. And this will be a free kick for the Cadets. Special night here at CBC. At halftime, we will be honoring the 20th anniversary of the 2005 state championship team. Back to that in a second. St. Dominic trying to spoil the party. Right-footed shot from Gavin Phillips is not going to trouble Stone to Grief, nor will it trouble those members of the 2005 state championship team who are here to celebrate 20 years since that state championship. They will be honored at halftime, so you want to stick around at the end of the first half. Pretty quickly, they will be called out onto the field to celebrate them. Real question is Coach Randy Roy, of course, a member of that team. Will he be a part of that celebration, or will the demands of work keep him over on that sideline? The game within the game, Randy.
I would imagine, depending on the score, that he will participate in the event.
We'll see. We'll keep an eye on that for you. And Coach Scott Brown will bring you that ceremony over the PA. We'll recap it when we come back to, just in case we know that usually you can hear the PA. Sometimes it's a little difficult to make out, so we'll make sure that when we come back in the second half, we will tell you all about it just in case. But we are looking forward to that at halftime. 2005 state championship game 20 years later.
Yeah, and Tom, 40 years for me.
40 years.
40 years since our state championship
I noticed,
game.
Randy, that there's no CBC team queuing up to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the 1985 state championship game. We'll let the viewers wonder why that is, as DeSmet looks to counter here. They were looking right down the middle. Killian Rittenhouse trying to find that channel between Cole and Miller. It's the former who does well to head it out. Pressure, got to be quick with those passes at the back. Get yourself into a lot of trouble if you slow down in those. Parker Jetton on, that's good to see. He's going to play at the base of the midfield. And now Will Sharamatero. Connor Camps. He's got support. There's a good talking from Beck.
Yeah, and a good job by Beck just to sometimes just stop and hold that ball and let things happen and move away and go from there.
And there's a lot of hard jobs on the field, but that number 8 position, for my money, might be the hardest. You know, there's so much going on around you. It's so much speed in such tight quarters. And the number 8's job, that's a foul called against St. Dominic. This will come out for CBC. So much of that job is just being aware of your surroundings, receiving the ball in all sorts of scenarios. You know, if you're a winger, you tend to receive the ball on the wing in similar situations. You create similar situations. You don't get that luxury as the number 8. You are constantly under pressure from all sides. You have to be aware of not only your own players, but the opposition. And so for Colbeck to step into that role as a sophomore, and do the job he's done so far and show the signs of growth that he has so far is really, really impressive.
A good ball over the top there.
Yes, it was. Now here is a chance. Give and go works. Opportunity here. Right-footed shot. Saved by Stone. Rebound is there before being cleared. That was Corbin Beal, who couldn't beat Stone to Grief. Great save by Stone. Danger not gone yet, though, as the Crusaders are pressing in again.
Yeah, this is a ball that you just take and try to clear out.
And now you try to clear up, step out just a little bit, try to set that offsides trap again. Cole's header finds Chase Meyer. who steps up. Ball bounces. Rittenhouse is there. That'll be out. Should be a CBC throw, I believe, and a chance to clear their lines. More substitutions for CBC. I believe I see Cale Keller coming in for Kiefer Cole, so Cale will be at right back. Trying to see where that other substitution happened. I think that was Frankie Eilerman over there on the left wing.
Yeah, I think he's coming in as a left midfielder maybe for Nico.
Yeah, it looks like he's playing out on that wing in front of Nicoletti. And there's a pass in behind Nicoletti. Good job covering there. Is that Lucas Theme in there, the sophomore back? There's a nice intervention. His first intervention of the evening. And St. Dominic looks like they're queuing up for a long throw here. We're going to get a good run up. You see the shoulder stretch. I think he's going to fling this one. St. Dominic is set up like it's a corner kick. The fly is still there. It's a good throw. Stone's got to be there. Punches it out. Rebound opportunity. You can see the idea from Greco. Yes. Trying that side volley, but running away from goal, that's going to be an awfully demanding shot.
Yeah, Stone's so good in the air of judging the ball. You know, the high-level volleyball player, which plays into his goalkeeping ability, but you very rarely will see him beat on a ball that is in the air.
Can CBC counter? Dominic doing a nice job of settling into possession here. This is exactly, you and I were talking earlier in the day, Randy, about sometimes CBC just needs to kind of slow down, settle into a kind of comfortable possession. That's exactly what St. Dominic has done here these last few minutes.
And they start sucking you into knowing that you're not going to have the ball.
Chance here. This is Eilerman, left foot, that's wide. You can see the idea. They gave him a little space. I think Eilerman was a little surprised by the amount of space he had to run into there. Hits the left-footed shot just a little wide.
Yeah, I was going to say Eilerman, predominantly a left-footed player, has a strong left-footed shot. And he had some space there on the left-hand side to light it up.
Goal kick with 16:12 remaining in this first half. Tom Eichwald, Randy Gardner bringing you this game on CSN. We got Braden Spikogi up on top of the press box bringing you the pictures. Brought you a great view of Stevie Jones' opener back in the 11th minute.
You couldn't ask for a better shot placement in reference to a camera for a goal.
No, you could not. Here are the Crusaders down the right. Cutting inside. First block is pulled off by Nicoletti. They're going to switch it over here to Meyer. CBC, nice defensive shape. They're sliding well. And the long ball in is met by Miller. There's Mason Phillips looking to feed one in. And Rittenhouse can't do much more than poke it through to Stone. Defensive shape from CBC looks good. They do work hard off the ball. One of the things you see when St. Dominic likes to switch it, you will see CBC get over there. Great example of it from Stevie over here of closing down. It's just a little bit sometimes when you get those diagonal and indirect give and goes. We've seen CBC get pulled out of position a bit by St. Dominic, so that's something to keep your eye on, something that I imagine Coach Keller will address at halftime with his team as well. Probably something Coach Roy will address with his halftime too, with his team at halftime.
It's a good ball there.
Cross in. Stevie can't get there. Meyer does just enough to put him off. Greco is available, and he's going to turn and go. Another loose shin guard.
Yeah, and that's actually not a bad effort, not a bad foul. If you drop that shoulder a little bit and get him off balance and not get the call, you win the ball in a great spot. And tactical foul there, no issue whatsoever.
Don't keep official stats on this, Randy, but I believe that's the second lost shin guard for Stevie Jones in the game so far.
And he wears his socks up high, so surprisingly they come sliding out.
Yeah. Just goes to show how hard he works.
Well, you know how light and little the shin guards are now. Back in our day, they were 14 inches long and had steel plates in them.
I don't know if you saw it, but there was a still frame that came out of a Premier League game last week, 2 weeks ago. James Milner for Brighton they're celebrating a goal, and Milner, of course, has the old school shin guards in, not fully old school, not Randy Gardner old school, but maybe Tom Eichwald.
With the padding on the bottom. You
didn't have the
those?
Ankle pad.
Oh,
but
come on.
Celebrating with him was one of his teammates who's on the younger end of things and had a shin guard about the size of I don't know, maybe a square inch. Look it up, folks. It's worth a watch. On the turn, Rittenhouse can't get there. He's called for offside anyway, so CBC will get to clear again. I didn't know they made shin guards that small. But,
Yeah,
there it is. It's on the internet. Must be true.
You don't particularly like a shin guard until it saves your shin, and then you understand why they're there. Or you get kicked above it or below it, or when you don't have it in at practice and you get that, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's indent, cut, whatever you want to call it, and it takes weeks for that thing to go away.
It's those cleats below the shin guard that are always the worst. Right above the ankle. The old shot follow through. And yet, if you ask the players if they wanted an ankle protector to prevent that, can't do that. St. Dominic trying to bring this down.
Well, and you start to see, this is what we were talking about before, losing some of the 50-50 balls, the goal kicks, the punts into the midfield area right there where we are just not able to win that ball. Then the second ball, we're not able to win that. Those are the little things that make a huge difference in trying to control a game.
I'd say nobody really in control of this game. You know, the last 10 minutes or so, you'd have to say St. Dominic has probably been the more composed. CBC at times has been a little reactive and a little panicked. But overall, I think they've been fairly good. Got the one goal early on, 11th minute from Stevie Jones. Haven't created a whole lot since then as they've been pinned in a little. I think you just need to step up. You know, who's going to be that player that kind of puts his foot on the ball and just dictates the pace? Is that going to come out of the middle? Is that going to come somewhere on the flank? But it's something CBC need right now. Can Nicoletti do it? Now Keller. Just a little rush, a little panicky, and there's another opportunity for Dominic to attack. Those are those sorts of situations where you can really cause a lot of problems. A couple substitutes being readied over on the CBC bench as well.
Yeah, and a ball like that, as soon as Kale played that ball, you know, he knew that he did it. And sometimes it just happens. And what makes a good player great is to be able to shake that off.
Here's the attack. Good recovery there by Cale Keller.
And that's defensively, Tom, right there is where you have to be really careful, because a good offensive player can take and make that ball, that dive, look very, very good.
And the player attacking him there was 16, Tucker Mecklin. Got himself 2 goals on the season. Leading scorer, for those wondering, for St. Dominic is Killian Rittenhouse, number 10. He has 7 on the season so far. Right behind him is Corbin Beal, number 7. He's got himself 5. 5 is even with, well, at the start of the game was even with Stevie Jones, the leading scorer for CBC, but of course he's now at 6. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. You are watching the Cadet Student Network. We told you all about Tim Kylo, but we also want to tell you about Charlie McDaniel and Athletic Republic. If you are looking to get in shape, maybe you got activity coming up, son or daughter in winter or spring sports, trying to use the off-season well. Maybe you're looking to get either in shape, back in shape, whatever it is. You will want to look up Athletic Republic and Charlie McDaniel. So supportive of what we do here at CBC.
Yeah, Tom, you and I, we talk about it all the time, that we might need to take a trip by there and see Charlie. I keep trying to get him to come in here and do a broadcast with us and talk a little bit more about it on the air, but very busy gentleman. And so I know soccer is his sport.
There's Nathan Dang, the substitute on, was looking down the flank, but ball rolls out. This will be a goal kick for St. Dominic. Again, that's Athletic Republic. You will want to reach out to them. You can call Charlie at 314-432-6103. Charlie McDaniel, Athletic Republic, 314-432-6103. Last 10 minutes here. What will we see? CBC looking to get back in the ascendancy here. Jetton on to do just that. Gil Keller leaves it, and that is over the top from Dela Croce. Never really looked like he was ready to hit that one. You like the idea. The layback is nice. Connor Camps has been lively since coming on. He's got Nathan Dang playing behind him as an attacking midfielder. And again, Jetton back in.
And some of that, you know, at this level, you have to put your body in a position to on like that ball to anticipate that you might get that ball and be in a position to make that first step so you stride into it where you're over the ball and you're not reaching.
Clock just about to strike, 8 minutes remaining. Nathan Dang dropping back. Lucas Sharamatero now playing over on the left side. Dela Croce, Jetton, Keller put under pressure. Deals with it well. Camps a little bit isolated, but let's see what he can do. Good job by Dela Croce to run up and support, and a good ball from Dela Croce. Eilerman looking inside. Couldn't connect with Dang. And Dela Croce tries to get in there, but he's going to get called for a foul. 7.5 remaining as Dominic will get to clear it.
Yeah, great job by Frankie to get that ball going to the corner. It's really hard to see on camera. It's hard for us to see that end line exactly where it is, but it kind of runs right on top of the letters.
PA is calling down the members of the 2005 state championship team down to the track to be honored at halftime. Again, 20th year celebrating the 2005 state championship team. So many of those guys back tonight. Look forward to celebrating them. Here's a ball in for Stone to claim. 7 minutes remaining. So those players making their way down to the track. Just got a thumbs up from the cadet crew as they made their way down. You'll love to see that. And they will head out to the field at halftime. So stick around at the end of the first half as they will be called out. Throw in for the Crusaders.
Should we throw a ball down there, Tom, see who still has it?
I'd be for it. I think you should do that, Randy. On the turn. Good job by Theme to slide over. Looked like Gavin Willey attacking. Didn't get a great look at the number. Looked like 6 to me.
You know, and coming into this game, we're 34 minutes into this. This is kind of what I expected. First half, but little from both teams in terms of controlling the game. There have been spurts from each team.
Throw an opportunity, long throw from the Crusaders. That's met with the head of Frankie Eilerman and chased by Dela Croce. CBC's defense has to clear their lines, get back up to the top of the 18, set the offside trap. They did well. And unlucky for Eilerman as it comes up off his left arm. Nothing he can do there, but this is a good opportunity for Dominic.
Yeah, one thing I would say that on that play there, as the defender had the ball, he had his back to you, and you gave him a little bit some space. You backed off him, where gave him an opportunity to turn and come at you. But if you follow up and do not let him turn there, it totally changes the perspective of how he's going to play that ball. And it's easy for us to see that and feel that up here from the booth.
Mason Phillips and Gavin Willey, the two Crusaders over the ball. Looks like a two-man wall over there. I think that's Nicoletti and Dang maybe who've drawn the pleasure of being in the wall.
Is that Eilerman behind him?
It is Eilerman behind them.
I drop him another 10 yards back in that space because you know where the ball's going between Eilerman and the keeper.
It's going to be right-footed. Phillips dipping down, deflected. You like the idea. Hit one that dips down in a bad area. Corbin Beal was right there, just couldn't find the connection. It's almost like hockey. By the way, happy new Blues season tonight as they open. It's like firing one in and having your center try to deflect it. I mean, it's basically the same idea. Just put it in a good spot and let a guy who specializes in causing havoc cause havoc. 4.5 remaining. More members of that 2005 state championship team making their way down to the field. They are ready to celebrate in just a bit. And you know the guys wearing the CBC pink and black tonight would love to give them a little extra to celebrate with a good win over St. Dominic. Long way to go before we get to there, though.
Right. And we talk about that tradition of CBC soccer, 10-time state champions, and I talk to the kids all the time about, I'll let you go ahead and call this as the ball moves into our defensive zone.
Yeah, this is Beal. Thought about taking himself. Cadets do a nice job of ushering him to the sideline as a team. You could see the idea there. As Connor Camps pinches back, this is Frankie Eilerman in support. Almost had a second one come off his arm, but reacts well. Now a chance to press. All right, mistake there from St. Dominic. You're going to get a throw-in with 3:20.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that so much pride in the program, 10-time state championship. You're playing for so much when you put on that CBC jersey and you wear that emblem. You're playing for years and years of soccer tradition. Every kid on this field grew up, whether on St. Dominic or CBC, you grew up playing club soccer, maybe CYC soccer, hoping someday you would be on the field playing for your school, and now you are. So I always say don't take any game or any moment of a game for granted.
Here's Dang. Driving central. Gets around one. Dang with the right-footed shot that's blocked. Good job defensively by Ben Warner, number 5, to stick a foot in. 2.5 remaining now. Decent spell from CBC. Eilerman's looked lively over there on the left. Crosses it in. That's a miscue. Nobody could get there. It's going to come all the way through for Robbie DeLong. And that's out for a CBC throw. Keller comes up. 2:10 on the clock. CBC doesn't necessarily have that same long throw that Dominic does as a weapon. Instead, they'll play indirect. This is Keller. DeLong into the middle. Ball's in a good spot, just nobody there. And now the Crusaders looking to break. Cross from Greco. Good step from Kiefer Cole. Flicked on by Dang. Again, nobody there, though. Clock at 1:40. Cole again. DeLong's going to come over, beaten to it by Meyer. Again, Kiefer Cole. Popular guy the last few minutes. Eilerman looking down the side for Camps, and that is going to go out for a goal kick with 1:20 remaining.
Yeah, the field, it's the temperature's dropping a little bit, and you know what happens to the field when it starts to drop. You get a little bit of that dew on the ball. So what you've been doing all year, putting a little extra juice on that ball that played in the corner with the little bit of wet turf, it can get away from you.
And for the viewers at home, the clock on your screen is about to expire in a few seconds. Official game clock is 1 minute remaining, so we just passed into the last minute of the first half. Pressure being applied by Camps. Now DeLong getting in on it, trying to put some pressure on Meyer. Backtracking is Greco. 47 seconds. Dominic looking for one last chance. This is Stevens. Matched up against Parker Jetton, who looks like he's moving well. Stevens. He's got Warner now. 33 seconds.
And a great job by our midfielders to step up there, and that's the difference, like right there, in creating them and making them turn back around and start back over instead of the time to stop and turn and face the goal.
This is Greco working against Keller. In the middle, Rittenhouse. Greco again, 15 seconds. Tried to beat Stone near post. Good save as Stone got over. Will they get this corner away? 8 seconds to go. Clock does not stop. He's going to hit it with time remaining. 3 seconds on the clock. And there it is. That's headed just enough out of the way to see out the first half. So the Cadets with a 1-0 lead thanks to an 11th minute goal from Stevie Jones. Dominic had some good stretches. They actually had a couple of good shots. Stone to Grief with a point-blank save to keep the 1-0 lead. And then another good one right at the end there at the near post. So the Cadets lead 1-0 in a half that wasn't perfect, but showed some signs.
Yeah, definitely coming off the performance we had on Tuesday, definitely a positive in the way this game started. Moving the ball pretty good. We're going to go ahead and throw it to PA announcer Scott Brown for the 2005 state championship team.
CBC wrote their name in the record books and became part of CBC Cadet soccer lore forever, and became one of the 10 state championship teams in school history. In 2005, the CBC soccer team went 29-3-2 and defended their 2004 state championship. This was only the second time in school history that CBC soccer had won back-to-back championships. They also did this in '83 and '84. During the season, CBC recorded 24 shutouts in 34 games and outscored their opponents by a score of 83 to only 14. 14 of those players from the 2005 team went on to play at various levels of college soccer, and on their run in the state sectional game, they took down the DeSmet Spartans. In the quarterfinals, they took down the St. Louis University High School Junior Billikens. In the semifinals, they took down the Marquette Mustangs by a score of 2-0. And in the championship game on a sunny Saturday afternoon, they took down the Vianney Griffins by a score of 2-1 on a perfect volley from Jimmy McDaniel to bring home the winner. In attendance, we have some of the members here tonight. They are Alex Bartoni, Kevin Balicki, Jamie Groark, Brian Groark, Mike Hanley, Corey Kosman, Timmy Lindsay, Jimmy McDonald, our head soccer coach here at CBC, Randy Roy, Ryan Rozicki, Gino Valenti, Ryan Wilhelm. These young men would also like to remember two of their teammates who are no longer with us. They are forever CBC cadets in their hearts. I'd like to remember Phil Quinones, who was one of the team managers, who was a class of 2006, and also Brett Bozeski, who was a class of 2008. Gentlemen, CBC thanks you for what you did, for the memories you gave us, and you will always be part of the CBC soccer lore here. Thank you very much. Let's give them one more round of applause.
There you have it, the 2005 state championship team. We will tell you more about that when we come back for the second half. We got a little bit more of a break here. Stay tuned. You are watching CBC versus St. Dominic on the Cadet Student Network.
Men for tomorrow, brothers for life. We say it often, and we take great pride in our commitment to this motto. That commitment has become a part of who we are at CBC. Our brotherhood is well defined. We see it, we feel it, we experience it every day. It's in the relationships we establish, the moments we share, and the memories we will cherish forever. But what does it mean to be a man for tomorrow? It means that you've prepared your mind, your body, your spirit, and your conscience for anything that life might throw your way. Your experiences at CBC should push you, challenge you, and inspire you to make the world a better place. And after 4 years, every cadet who walks across that stage at graduation will be a man who is guided by faith, strengthened by intellect, committed to justice, and prepared to lead and serve.
to him, and I am the friendliest of friends of God. I am the difference maker. Oh, I am the only one who speaks to him, and I am the friendliest of friends of God.
At CBC, we win awards, championships, and accolades of all kinds. We love to celebrate together and couldn't be more proud of these accomplishments. But ultimately, our purpose is much greater. CBC is here to develop young men who will go out and make a difference in the world. That's a man for tomorrow.
A CBC high school education is about a transformation from boys to men. It's about the formation of a brotherhood that will stand the test of time. It is about service and discovery. It is about coming to understand the world around us and the people that live in it, and ourselves through real life experiences.
I've been here at CBC for 2 years, and what I'm seeing in the classroom on a daily basis continues to amaze and inspire me every single day.
We know that we're preparing students for success in careers that will extend beyond the year 2050. We can't keep teaching them like it's 1950. That just doesn't work.
Education is no longer teacher-driven with things like worksheets and lectures, but instead student-driven, where teachers provide students with hands-on learning experiences.
For example, our students aren't just memorizing the definition of entrepreneurship. They're interacting with entrepreneurs. They're practicing. They're becoming entrepreneurs.
We are providing opportunities and experiences for these boys that go beyond just delivering content. When I became an engineer, it was in spite of my education. These boys are becoming engineers because of their education.
It's exciting to me to see problem solvers in an authentic learning environment. They grow to be self-directed learners and critical thinkers.
The reality is we're trying to prepare CBC students for jobs, careers, opportunities, and experiences that just don't exist yet.
There is no other industry that can remain stagnant for generations and still succeed. Education has to evolve. We have to innovate, and that's our focus here at CBC. One with a record of 8-6-1, and the Dominic Crusaders at 10-5-1. Rivalry matchup. CBC lost to St. Dominic twice last year, both in the month of October, and looking to rebound. Got off to a good quick start with Stevie giving them a 1-goal lead in the 11th minute. But after that, it was St. Dominic who asked a lot of questions of CBC. Probably had better stretches of possession. CBC at times looked a little bit shaky, maybe a little bit panicky in their use of the ball, but they still have a lead. And right at the end of the half, they were starting to show some inroads, starting to create some chances. Be really interesting to see what happens with the momentum coming out of halftime.
Yeah, Tom, we've seen it in previous games throughout the year where the team will come out right after halftime, almost in a rage of fury. They come out, they put a lot of pressure on. The game looks a lot better, a lot quicker, and it almost seems like a different team. Now, do you come out in a game like this and do that? I don't know right now. Yes, you want to put some pressure on, but I don't know if you come out and press too hard, too quick to get that second goal. I think you try to weather the first 5 minutes, make it through it, and slowly kind of push that pressure onto them. Because what happens is, I think, is that you come out, you push too hard, and you get a counterattack and they score, and it totally changes the complexion of the game. Where if it stays 1-0 us for 5 minutes, it starts to fall back a little bit into per se what we've seen throughout the game.
And if you're St. Dominic, on one hand, you trust what you've done, but on the other, I think looking to cause a few more problems at the back. When they've been at their best, they've been running indirect. They've had their forward runners coming back into the midfield, trying to draw people out of position. Created a couple of decent opportunities doing that, so I would imagine that is going to be an intentional area of focus here for them in the second half. Cadets are on the right side of your screen. They're wearing those pink jerseys, pink socks, black shorts. They are going right to left, and going left to right in the all-white uniforms are the St. Dominic Crusaders, who trail the Cadets 1-0. Second half underway. Tom Eichwald and Randy Gardner bringing you this game. You just had the 2005 state championship celebration at halftime. So nice to see those guys back. $39-35 remaining in this one. This is Garoni on the left. He's looking for Jude Light. You can see the idea. Light was just trying to turn his man, Carson Kilcullen. But Kilcullen did well. And now this is Chase Gardner looking back at Stone to Grief, and Stone will come out for this one. Puts it right back in play to Evan Miller. A 2005 championship team that was honored. Such an impressive run, 29-3-2. And they defended the 04 state championship. So only the second time in school history that CBC had won back-to-back state championships. 83 and 84 were the other two. No comments from Randy Gardner allowed on that talking point.
No 85
During the season,
there.
no comments allowed from Randy Gardner. During the season,
hey,
CBC recorded.
I bleed purple now.
There's noise in my headset. I'm not sure what's going on. During the season, CBC recorded 24 shutouts in 34 games. And get this, outscored opponents 83-14. That is correct. They played 34 games, scored 83 goals, allowed 14 goals. 14 of those players went on to play various levels of college soccer. You talk about a dominant team, 2005 state championship team. Welcome back, gentlemen. It's good to have you.
Yeah, we talk about the pride that if you wear the emblem that you have, you can see it on their faces 20 years later, that it means just as much now as it did back then. It's something that, lives with you forever. It's disheartening if you lose, but if you win, it's something that, like I said, you could at certain times of the year when it gets cool like this, it's like you're there.
It's one of those, I'd say you smell the cut grass, but you don't really smell grass anymore. With all the turf. But I was going to say one thing that I always enjoy seeing the CBC has done before was bringing the team over to share in the celebration. Rather than being over in a huddle on the far side, Coach Roy was with his teammates, and the team got to see that. They got to see firsthand, those guys kind of not just celebrating, but also connecting with each other. They got to see those relationships 20 years on, which can only help this group. Another long throw coming from St. Dominic. They would love to spoil this party.
This is a long throw, too, if it makes it into the box.
Yes, it is. I think it will. They're lined up in the 6-yard box. And that is a laser.
Great job by Nico to get up on that one and clear that ball out. Not just 5 yards, but to really knock it out of there.
Rittenhouse is chasing it, but that's going to be too far for him to control, and this will be a throw-in for the Cadets. How about that, Randy? 83 goals, 14 allowed in 34 games, with 24 of those being shutouts.
How do you balance? Where do you say the power was there? It's almost pretty even. You can't say, well, we were an offensive powerhouse, because you were, but you were also a defensive powerhouse. So that's impressive.
Yeah, that's a good recipe. Maybe that's the game plan. Just be elite offensively, be elite defensively, you'll be fine. That's
and
simple,
a lot
right?
of shutouts.
Yeah.
As a coach, that's how you go into the year. You say, This is what we're going to do.
This is Will Shermatero trying to turn. He was trying to turn and find Lucas in the middle.
I think it was Cole Back.
Or was that Cole Back
over
over there?
Cole Back.
Next to Will. Will Shermatero playing in the right wing.
And a great job up top of just that pressure there from can tell. Is that Jude?
That's Jude.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. They both have that blonde hair and have that somewhat of the same stride. But, man, that kind of stuff makes such a difference.
Good ball for Nico to run onto. You can see the idea from Jude. Just kind of that dummy coming out and let the winger run onto it. Doesn't come off in the end, but great idea. Flicked on. Will turns, and it's going to be comfortable for Mason Phillips, who'll restart things for the Crusaders. Takes a little bit of a knock from Jude Light, who was coming hard. Now Will. Garoni. Throw in for CBC. Like to extend this stretch. You don't want this to be a 10-second attack and then right back on defense. You'd like to control this, look for the right opportunity. Good step by Gardner. Now Beck controls. He's going to get tripped up, but player was standing still. Pretty hard to call that a trip, although it's unlucky for Cole. Now Meyer. That's not Meyer. That is, it is Meyer, I believe. Either that or a player not on our roster. And that, folks, is a player not on our roster. Mysterious number 28 playing right back. Thought I was safe saying Myers, the only player on our roster with a number in the 20s. And
did you look to
it's
see if there's a back
instead.
page?
There is not a back page. I did not open the JV roster. I wonder if he's maybe a swing player coming up for this game. See if we can get the folks that name.
Tom, I like your commitment here.
We're digging for it.
Good job by the cadets to kind of hold their line here, almost holding the line, but it's one of those things where you have to be careful with the pressure like that. Good job by Gardner there to knock that ball away at the last moment. It's one of those balls that sneak through and catch you without, realizing it's coming that quick. You're expecting that ball to maybe come across at head height or whatever, and it comes through at your feet.
I was optimistic about finding number 28 on the JV roster, but the JV roster also stops at 22, so we are out of luck here.
Tom, are you sure that's 28?
I am sure that's 28. There's a cross in. Nicoletti meets it with the head. Helped on. Will Matero coming back. Puts that into a corner, and Dominic will get to reset.
It's almost we need to move our line up a little higher. If the ball comes out, we've got to start moving that line, even if it's incrementally at 5 yards or 10 yards at a time. But the ball's coming out, and nobody's up here, and they're just turning around and retrieving it right back into our end.
Well, and I think just a little bit out of sync, because if you look at where Jude's playing, Jude's kind of playing centrally, and a lot of these balls coming out are diagonal. And if he doesn't know which way he's going, then he's a step behind that defender who's reading the whole thing. The defender's even reading the clearance before it's hit. He knows exactly where that's going, and Jude's trying to look back over his shoulder and see where I'm going. So just a little bit out of sync. There you go, right on him from Nicoletti. Good dummy again from Jude. Yeah. Almost got around the corner.
I was going to say, 2-3 more steps there. He had him. Jude's got some really quick first 2-3 steps, along with Stevie Jones, the same thing, the guys up top.
Nicoletti to Garoni. Into the middle. All kinds of space for Jude. Brings it down with the right. Just couldn't get the shot away in time. Good block from Kilcullen. Danger not gone, though. There's Will Matero twisting and turning. Still Matero. Lucas gets in there. Can't get the shot off. It's blocked. And St. Dominic clears. Evan Miller challenges. He's got support from one of his captains, Nicoletti. Now Garoni. This is a good stretch from CBC. Still Nico. He's got Nicoletti in support. Into the middle with the right foot. And that's going to give it right back to St. Dominic. Kind of got caught between the shot and the cross. I wonder if he was going to cross it and realize the man wasn't there, but it was too late.
Yeah,
kind of had that look.
And still putting it in a zone where it can become a dangerous ball.
9 minutes gone here in the second half. Game still 1-0 to CBC. That was an 11th minute goal from Stevie Jones with the left foot. A great camera angle he had of that from Braden Spikogi up on top of the press box. And a very comfortable evening up there for him. He's got some long, cold evenings ahead of him.
Yeah, we talked about at halftime. We talked about football tomorrow night. It's going to be a little bit
Beals cross. Stone to Grief backtracks and brings it in.
chilly tomorrow night as we play Vianney. 6 o'clock here. You can see that on CSN. You'll also be able to see it streaming on Matrix Midwest. Excited about that one. That game, a big chili bowl for the kids. Tailgate after school.
And Jude is going to get called for a foul there. The pro tip would be maybe wait a little bit into the evening to get the chili. Maybe don't go after the chili right before the chili bowl. It'll be a little bit warm in the afternoon. Let it cool off. Finish playing, your football. Finish playing your activities, and then go for the chili as it starts to cool off. That's the recommendation of this CSN broadcast crew. Will they heed that recommendation, Randy? They will not.
Well, and would you still call it?
This is Stevie left foot, and that is high.
Would you still call it the chili bowl if it was weather like it was the week before when it was 90 degrees outside?
You still call it the chili bowl. You just got to be even more careful when you start eating the chili.
Well, you could have some creativity with the name.
You could.
And the whole promotion of the event.
You could.
Roush, Brian Roush, cooking chili. We've got a great video of him tomorrow morning for our morning broadcast. Dropping a whole thing of chili.
Looking forward to that now.
Kind of the Office style,
Yep.
Kevin from The Office.
Here's Will Shermatero. He's got
Great
space.
job.
They give him tons of space. Here he is, Will. Thinks about the right foot shot. Turf Monster gets him.
Good job, though.
Yes, it was.
To take that space that was given.
I don't think he could believe that space that he was getting. Left-sided center back slid out wide and just left him about 10 yards to run into. He'll want that one back, but that's a seam you might look for again. Eilerman back to Nicoletti. Here's somebody yelling switch. I think that was Evan Miller back there yelling switch.
Yeah, and we talked about it at the beginning of the game. That's one thing this team's looking to try to do. Great job at Stevie.
Yes, it was. Still Stevie Jones. Still somehow Stevie Jones goes down, and that's going to be a foul.
If that's in the box.
If that's a foul, that's inside the box. The official is pointing to outside the box, and CBC
There's
is trying.
no way.
CBC is trying to say that there is no way if that's a foul is outside the box. He was a good 5 yards inside the box when he fell. Now, if it is a foul that begins outside the box,
Which
continues
could have been
inside
some
the box,
holding or something like that. And
then this would be the correct call. As it is, this is a free kick from 18 1/4 yards. That's what we're going with.
Low and drive it as hard as you can. Don't put it over the net. Drive it waist high.
There's the run over. Stevie with the shot right into the wall. Gets a left-footed rebound. And this could work out. Left-footed shot just wasn't there. I think that was Beck trying to hit it on the turn. Just drilled it into the wall.
Well, and if you look at a couple opportunities tonight, there was one there, one at the other end earlier on shots where we're right in front of the goal. Those are opportunities that we, as we move forward into districts and things like that, that we have to take and capitalize on those moments because they come few and far between.
All that being said, much, much better stretch from the Cadets. They are creating chances. They look like they have a plan. They receive it. They know what they want to do with the ball. Those connections are starting to fire. This is better from CBC.
And a great ball there.
They are finding those pockets of space that St. Dominic admittedly has given them. Eilerman into the middle. That's met. This will be a shot from Beck, and he couldn't get there in time. Brave challenge there from the Crusader in question. I think that was Gavin Willey, number 6.
Good step there.
Yep. Jude will chase this one, use that speed, make Connor White just a little bit uncomfortable. But the sophomore is composed. Pulls it in, restarts the attack on the left.
Yeah, we talked about it coming out at halftime, what we were going to see out of this Cadet team, and we saw them put together a string of touch and move and touch and go, and that was very successful here on this side of the field, which led to a couple goal-scoring opportunities. That's the style that has to be put together for basically 70 of the 80 minutes as we progress.
Long throw here from St. Dominic. Yeah, if you're looking for one word to describe the start of the second half from CBC, I think, Randy, the word would be mature. It has been a very mature start. Not overcommitting, but getting forward, getting into better positions. Here's the long throw. Met by Evan Miller. Good job of attacking the ball by Evan. So critical as a defender to make sure you attack that ball. Don't let it come to you. Unfortunately, you can't keep it in, and this will be a corner.
Right.
First corner of the game. Second corner of the game. They had one right at the end of the half. And we'll see what they do with it.
Right, and this is another point of emphasis for this team. We've struggled in different games and allowed some goals on different aspects of head balls being in the box and the ball just bouncing and nobody getting a foot on it.
There's a cross near post. It's headed out by Evan Miller again. And now right-footed shot's not going to trouble Stone to grief. That'll be a goal kick with 24:37 remaining. Got our official visitors coming up tonight. Good group from Sacred Heart and Florissant today. Had a nice day here at CBC, and now they're taking in the game. Just walked up as if in procession.
Randy. Are they coming up to the Tim Kylo broadcast booth to say hi to you?
I certainly told them they were welcome to. Got to show them around school today, which was a lot of fun. I think they had a great day. Even got some top golf in after school. This is Beal. Goes end line. Trying to get around the corner of Gardner. Stone steps up. Whiffed clearance. Nicoletti tries to clear. Ball bouncing around. It's the Crusaders who come up with it. Now Beal. Have to buy themselves just a little bit of space, but Nicoletti doesn't give it to him.
And a great job of stepping and forcing and creating a mistake.
Just over 15 minutes gone in this second half. Still just that 11th minute goal, the difference in this game, but Gavin Phillips trying to change that. He's working against Gardner, gets it on the left, back to the right. Gardner holds his ground, Nicoletti helps him out. And that is cleared right up the middle. Will Sharamatero helping out. Now Gardner. Jude Light has to come back. But he's beaten to it by Beal. Corbin Beal drifts all over the place, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's one of your leading scorers. He was back there with the center backs waiting to pick up that ball in the clearance. That's a smart player.
It's a great ball there.
Yes, it is. This is
a very tight window to fit that in.
This is Stevie. Stays on the right, brings it down. Centering pass, and that is blocked. This will be out for a corner.
Wow. How graceful was that on just a touch and step through him. Very fluent.
Substitutions for the Cadets. A few new players on. Connor Camps comes on. Cale Keller comes on. Nathan Dang on as well. Corner taken quickly. It's short. And crossed in. Eilerman just couldn't get enough on the header, and that'll be out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's a tough ball to redirect back towards the goal with some power as it's coming in, and you leave your feet, and the ball's just at head level.
22 minutes remaining. Shout out to Nate Latch, Director of Communications, just popped in the press box. And that is offside.
Yeah.
Just a little bit off.
A little bit of a hesitation in that call, but I think linesmen realized that most of the players had their hands up, and it was very, very apparent.
It was Gavin Willey coming back from an offside position. And Gardner will take. 21:34 on the official game clock, so what you're seeing is accurate. Randy again doing double duty tonight, announcing and working the clock. Got Braden Spikogi up on top of the press box, bringing you the pictures.
Yeah, Cooper Newmark also up there. Big helping hand to KCBC and CSN.
Just coming off of a busy season with the play as well. Helped pull off Trap, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they had a great weekend with Trap. They've got 3 more plays throughout the year in terms of opportunities to come out and see our theater group.
A classic coming up in December, Pippin. Stay tuned for more information on that. Good challenge from Eilerman.
Right, and a great job re-engaging quickly, and that's what happens.
Michael Agathon trying to switch fields. Instead, St. Dominic is going to come right back over here to this near side. Looking up the channel. Should be comfortable for Gardner. Initial pass high, headed back in. Control, now Beal. Found himself another little pocket of space there. Keller pinching in from right back wins it. He's got Camps. Now that's Stevie is out off of St. Dominic, so this will be a CBC throw. Substitution, Chase Gardner is going to get a break, and I believe we're going to see Lucas Theme come back in, the sophomore, number 22. That is correct. Getting to be the time of year where staying loose on the sideline matters. It's 95 degrees. You don't quite have to stretch as much. Or maybe that's just us. I don't know. Give and go. A good idea. But the Crusaders did well with it. And a loud call from the back. Couldn't tell if that was the goalkeeper or one of the center backs telling St. Dominic, get out. I think there's a little frustration on that. Put together some good stretches, still trailing by one, can't seem to make anything happen. That was the loudest call I've heard from a player all game. So I wonder if you can just let that frustration build for St. Dominic if you're CBC. I think that's a good sign. But they need a little bit of urgency. They're a little stuck right now, the Crusaders.
Yeah, and with 20 minutes left, I know, you're looking at not letting up a goal, so maybe you're a little more defensive-minded on some avenues, but I don't think you can fall too much into a defensive shell. I think we've done a good job with continuing to keep the ball moving.
Well, and that's going to be a foul called against Dang. The moment you start thinking about the clock with a one-goal lead, that's when you get yourself in trouble. If you can forget there is a game clock and just go out there and compete, you're in good shape. The minute you start looking.
Yep, that's a great way to put it, because the more it counts down, the more you're thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't take that step. Maybe I shouldn't go to the ball.
St. Dominic waiting to hit this one. Players running in from both sides. And a pretty worked out set piece. And again, hands from Stone. So comfortable going up to get that.
Yeah, he makes it look so easy.
It is not. This is Nicoletti. He's going to bring it into the middle. He was looking for the quick cross that wasn't there, but Dang pops out for him. Dang started the season playing wide. He's moved into this central attacking midfield role. Nicoletti trying to get around the corner. Does get a cross away, but that's going to be Connor White's with 17:25 remaining. First half, we told you about some of the supporters that make this network possible. We want to mention them again. If you are looking for help with your insurance, you want to call Tim Kylo. He's a State Farm agent. He's also a CBC alum, class of 1977. He is our presenting sponsor. We are coming to you live from the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. Because of his generosity, we are able to do this. So thank you to Tim. If you want to save money on your insurance, reach out to him. He works for State Farm, 314-842-4442. You can also email him if that's your thing, tim@timkylo, KILO.com. Chance here for St. Dominic, right-footed shot, comfortable for Stone. Other sponsor we want to tell you about is if you want to get in shape, or maybe you got a son or daughter looking to gear up for a winter or spring sport, call Charlie McDaniel at Athletic Republic. He is a longtime supporter of CSN and also of CBC, so we're so grateful for Charlie, everything that he does. Give Charlie a call. You can look him up online, of course, at athleticrepublic.com, but also give Charlie a call. Again, Charlie McDaniel, Athletic Republic, 314-432-6103. 314-432-6103.
Or athleticrepublicstl.com.
STL.com, that is the correction, athleticrepublicstl.com. But if you have trouble with the website, just call 314-432-6103 and blame Tom Eichwald. Just under 16 minutes remaining. And a night that's about rivalries excellence in high school soccer programs and celebrating the 2005 state champions. St. Dominic has 15 minutes, 38 seconds left to change the mood.
A dangerous opportunity from them.
Yep.
About 30 yards out here.
Mason Phillips is over it. He's the one who sets the ball. He's got Gavin Willie there with him. Last time we saw Willie run over it and leave it for Phillips. They're eyeing their runner's left side, and they will play it in the middle. Just a misconnection, and that's comfortable for Evan to clear.
It's a good job by Connor to hold on to that ball with his back to the ball. But that's the ball there that we cannot give away. There's the counter with this amount of time that you just can't have.
Good challenge there in the right wing. They keep it in. Now Dang looking for Camps, who has to control. He's got Dang on the return. Into the middle. Lucas Charmatero just can't get there. Mystery man number 28 beat him to it. For joining us late, our roster stops at 22. That was an intervention from the right back, number 28 from St. Dominic. If you know who he is at home, be proud of him. Good turn from Phillips, and they're going to get a foul called against Eilerman. I think they called him, although Phillips ended up on the ground, for maybe a little bit of handful of shirt. Sometimes with those white jerseys, it can be very hard to hide a little bit of a tug. Especially the stretchy jerseys you got. They just stretch and stretch and stretch. Make it hard to ignore. 14 minutes remaining. This is Phillips. I'll be more specific. This is Mason Phillips. Short. Doesn't beat the first man. Might get lucky as it went right under the boot. But instead, it's going to be Eilerman looking for Camps. It's a good ball. Checks up for Connor as well.
Good job by Connor to try to get his body another step or so. I think he would have had his body between the ball and him, which would have either given him an avenue to the goal or an avenue where he had to take you down.
It's good defending from Agathan, you have to say, to be able to get a foot in despite losing the foot race. And a great ball as well from Eilerman. Almost looked a little bit off balance, but he put that one on a dime.
I'm missing my Chick-fil-A tonight. I did not have Chick-fil-A for dinner.
I did not either. We're missing out here.
I was going to say, very seldom do we not have a Chick-fil-A sandwich from the Manchester location on any broadcast night.
That's true. But if you're thinking, boy, that does sound good, they're on Manchester just east of Ballas.
Or stop by one of our football or soccer games and just pick one up, take them home for the family.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, you can't order them from the app at our concession stand. You can only do that at the actual store locations.
Might have to look into that.
We'll see if we can get a computer science class on that one. Camps flicks on. Miller brings it down. Eilerman just couldn't get enough on it, and that's easy for White. 12 and a half remaining.
Yeah, we've created some opportunities, as you've seen there, throughout the game at both ends of the field.
If you are CBC, you just have a feeling another goal would make you feel a lot better about things right now. St. Dominic has a lot of potency in their attack. They've shown a lot of speed up top. They can cause you problems in a hurry. And it's not comfortable yet. Nor do I think it will be. So Nicoletti gets a break. Kiefer Cole's going to come play left back. Also Nathan Dang gets a break, and Will Sharamatero comes on for him. Ball down the channel. That's Beal. And they win it. Agathan looking to spring the right back.
Yeah, and I think that
misconnection.
Just after that throw in, the subs who came in, it sounds like maybe the instructions are to push it a little higher, push a little harder, try to cause a mistake, but don't get beat. Turn and retreat. Try to force a mistake and then turn and retreat. You saw a lot of pressure really quickly right there.
Throw in for the Cadets. Kiefer Cole. Thought about going backwards.
Yeah, that's it.
Themey said no way. I like the call off from the sophomore Theme. Thought about it, but Theme recognized the presence of Greco right in front of him. Didn't like the look, and that's going to be a St. Dominic ball. Went out for a throw with 10.5 remaining. Rittenhouse, leading scorer on the team, trying to tee up Agathan, who only tees up Stevie. Now Will Shermatero. He's got help overlapping on the left and Eilerman. Kiefer Cole looking for Camps, overshoots him. Miller steps. Back and forth right now. Somebody's got to bring this down and control it. And that's a miscue between Eilerman and Beck. Dangerous player to give it to in Beal. Good step by Eilerman to recover.
Yeah, some dangerous moments there.
Keller loses out. Will Shermatero helping out. And it's starting to get a little tight from CBC.
Tim Kylo just texted me and said that Chick-fil-A has a new sandwich, which is a pretzel bun with bacon. And he says it is great. At first I thought maybe he was selling pretzel bun bacon sandwiches, but definitely
be a nice addition to the portfolio. Yeah. Home insurance, life insurance, boat insurance,
bacon pretzel sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if he is, he could stop a few by here. We have about 10 minutes left.
Free kick for CBC. This is Keller. Received some instructions from over on the sideline. Still applying the pressure. Stevie Jones, Will Shermatero. Wanted it just a little bit earlier so he could wind up. Parker Jetton in there now. Will Shermatero, a man coming behind him. Did get a call eventually from over on this near side of the field. Now the Crusaders on the counter. This is Greco.
Greco's got a first 2 or 3 really quick stops, and then once he gets his motor going, he's just as quick. We saw that earlier in the first half on a ball down in the corner.
Good ball. Beal trying to control. No, it's not Beal. That's Gavin Phillips trying to control. Left-footed shot. Tried to go near post. Stone gets to it. Evan Miller on the clearance. Good shot from Phillips. Now Will. He's closed down from the backside. Need some composure here. Jetton now back. There you go. You got Eilerman on the wing. There it is. Now Keller. Correction, that's Cole. Camps. Control. Eilerman, good switch over to Cale Keller. 7 minutes, 20 seconds remaining, and just a miscue there between Stevie and Parker Jetton. So far, might be making the case for Stone to Grief being your player of the game if you had to pick. You know, it was a great goal by Jones, but that's about 4 or 5 saves now for Stone, including one that I just keep coming back to in the first half, point blank, as St. Dominic was in behind the defender, and he stepped and just made himself big and denied it. Will Shermatero now, right foot shot. Ooh. Uncomfortable for White.
I was going to say that ball had some movement on it.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I would have put a vote in there for Stevie Jones.
Yep.
He did a lot of, besides the goal, also created a lot of chances and opportunities.
You know, he could just score a second and then put it out of contest. We would be in favor of that. Even Stone would be in favor of that. Substitutions now for the Cadets with 6 minutes remaining on the clock. Tom Eichwald and Randy Gardner bringing you CBC versus St. Dominic on the Cadet Student Network on a lovely October evening here at W. Michael Ross 66 Stadium.
Yeah, now, we talk about not thinking defensively. I think now you get into the time frame where you are starting to maybe think a little defensive step.
That's 5.5 remaining. Cross comes in from the Crusaders. 2 options back post. That's headed out by CBC. Oh, no, that's a goal kick. I thought that came off Nicoletti, but apparently it came off of Beal. So goal kick for Stone. He will be in no rush. Too late in the game to really adjust the shin guards or, regrip the gloves or anything.
Yeah, because they know what you're doing now.
They do. Another minute or two, it might be worth taking a chance. Clock hits 5. It'll be out for a corner kick. Dominic not going away. They want to win this one just as badly as CBC does. A late corner kick, adding drama to the proceedings. CBC sets up. Looks like it's going to be Parker Jetton at the near post. Nico Garoni at the back post. Stone is matched up one-on-one against Brendan McCrory. But it's Stone who wins it, punches it. Long-range shot through bodies. Oh, that's just wide. You can see Stone scrambling to that one. Covered a lot of ground, but that was not far off. I think that was Chase Meyer, the left back, stepping up and hitting one. That worried the goalkeeper, Randy.
Yeah, that was from a long ways, and also there was a lot of people in front of him in terms of just screening him a little bit.
I have to say, good shot. Just drifted a little bit wide. Now a free kick for CBC. No rush to take this. Have one of your backs take it. Give you a few more seconds off the clock. Everybody get in position. Killian Rittenhouse trying to help CBC take this just a little bit quicker by setting up the ball for him. Of course, in that situation, they never set it up exactly how the kicker wants it, so he's got to set it himself.
Yep. But you know what? You're looking at another 10 to 15 seconds.
You are.
Off the clock. And
under 3.5 now remaining.
Hit it.
Well, he did.
Which is okay. You know what? You probably waste another 20 seconds or so in that, and at this point, but what ends up happening on a substitution, the clock stops. So.
Yep, so we'll start giving you, that was a short stoppage, just making sure CBC wasn't going to waste time on the substitution. So we'll start giving you the official game time as part of our call. What you're seeing on the screen is going to be a few seconds ahead. We are just now hitting 3 minutes, so a difference of about 8 or 9 seconds between what you're seeing on the screen and the official time. Throw in on the right wing. Kiefer Cole throwing it in. Greco trying to keep it in. Ball boy very quick to get that ball back in play. Quick check of the shin guards for Kiefer Cole. Referee saying none of that. Don't think he'll check the shin guards on this one. That was a pretty clear warning.
Just throw deep.
Yep. Looking down the line. It's exactly where this ball goes. Trying to use some speed to cause a problem here. It's well dealt with over there by Meyer.
Yeah, nice step over and turn.
It was. Very confident from the left back. 2 minutes, 10 seconds remaining.
A little hard to hear the whistle when the referee has her back to us. I couldn't hear that, but foul on St. Dominic there.
This is Will Shermatero standing over it.
4 guys really deep.
Will hits it with 1:49 on the clock. It's coming down, takes a bounce. Nico trying to get there backside. Goes to the corner flag. That was the intention anyway. Gives it up, 1:35 to go as Dominic counters. Nicoletti steps up. A little bit unlucky, but fortunately Gardner's backing him up. Awkward moment for Chase, and does the right thing. Kicks it out. 1:23 remaining. Carson Kilcullen hustles in.
This is where you have to be tough and step up and win this ball.
Attack
that's the
ball. Stone ends up having to catch that.
When does a referee decide you're going to call, a foul throw? I mean, you might as well just throw the ball one-handed. at that point. And I would say that whether it was them or us, it's not a negative thing. You're seeing it all over. We've seen it in multiple games throughout the year with the throw-ins, not even being close. They say the rule is somewhat come over the top of your head and you can spin now and do all that stuff, but when it's that much of an advantage.
Official game clock at 31 seconds. Last gasp here for the Crusaders. Good defensive header from Stevie. 25 seconds. Trying to attack down the middle. CBC, you have to be composed, have to be calm. Keep breathing, don't panic. Jetton misses the clearance.
They're going to get one more throw.
They will. It's not going to be long. They're going to take it quickly. This is Greco with 5 seconds remaining, and that is going to do it. A clearance down the hill to both ice this game and cause a freshman PE class some problems in the morning.
We'll explain that whole scenario in the next game that we televise.
It's enough. CBC wins 1-0. An 11th minute goal from Stevie Jones is enough to put the Cadets over on a night dedicated to celebrating the 2005 state championship team. Pretty easy at times. I think in the end, Dominic had good stretches, CBC had good stretches, a very even game that CBC just got a slight edge in.
Yeah, and I think as a building block heading into these last 5 or 6 games before you get to district, this mentally, even though maybe there were just flashes of good soccer, mentally this is a big win for this team.
Yes, it is. A great bounce back, and CBC comes away 1-0 winners. They go to 9-6-1 on the season.
Right, and then we play Saturday against Sacred Heart Griffin out of Springfield. And then next week, it's somewhat of a light week next week. We play at Eureka, and then that following week you've got Francis Howell and SLU, and then one more game to round out the season for Zumwalt South. And then you're into districts, and you know how that goes. It's all or nothing there.
But there are positives to take for both teams, but for CBC, a great performance. They end up getting the win in a good, I think, momentum-building win for them.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us. I want to thank Cooper and Braden up on top of the press box bringing you the pictures. I want to thank you, Randy. I want to thank everybody who joined us tonight on CSN. We've been glad to have you. Congratulations again to the 2005 state championship team who was celebrated tonight. And congrats to this cadet team in 2025 who just beat St. Dominic 1-0.